Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Coffee Talk, where I take an interesting topic and give it to you in the time that it takes to drink a cup of coffee. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, make sure that it is piping hot, add yourself some cream and sugar if you please, and if coffee is not what you do, perhaps a nice herbal tea is more for you. Make sure that it is steeped to perfection and add just a dash of honey. And if you don't do coffee or tea, perhaps a nice fruity smoothie is more what you do. And let's get ready for today's topic, which is reparations. Why the U.S. has given reparations to everyone, but hesitates in giving it to African Americans. So y'all, sit back and let's drink this hot coffee. Now, for full disclosure, I am what you consider ADOS, American descendant of slaves, which means that just a couple of generations ago, my family were enslaved. My grandmother was born on a plantation. Her parents were sharecroppers who themselves were actually born in slavery. So let's talk about why the country of our origin has given reparations to just about every other group except for ADOS, who, in my opinion, were done the greatest atrocity by the United States. Reparations, by definition, are a form of compensation given to groups that have suffered injustices and systematic discrimination. And in the United States, various groups have received reparations for the wrongs afflicted upon them. However, one significant group remains without formal reparation: the descendants of enslaved African Americans. In this video, I'm going to explore the reasons behind this disparity and examine why there is hesitation surrounding reparations for slavery. Throughout U.S. history, several groups have received reparations for injustices. Japanese Americans. During World War II, Japanese Americans were forcibly interned in camps, and in 1988, the U.S. government formally apologized and provided financial compensation to surviving internees through the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. For Native Americans, although the federal government has not provided comprehensive reparations, there has been settlements and financial compensation for specific grievances, such as land claims and resource exploitation. For Holocaust survivors. Now, while not directly from the U.S. government, Holocaust survivors residing in the United States have received reparations from Germany with U.S. support and facilitation. Victims of forced sterilization. In some states, victims of forced sterilization have received financial compensation for the violation of their bodily autonomy. Now, the case for reparation for those of us who are ADOS is extremely strong, and it's also complex because the transatlantic slave trade and the subsequent centuries of chattel slavery caused profound and lasting harm to African Americans. The end of slavery was also followed by Jim Crow laws, segregation, and systemic discrimination, which further entrenches racial disparities in wealth, education, and health. Despite the compelling case for reparations for ADOS, there are several reasons why our country, the United States, has hesitated to provide them to descendants of enslaved people. The first reason is the scale and the scope. The sheer scale of the reparations that is required for slavery is unprecedented, addressing over 400 years of slavery and subsequent discrimination involves complex calculations and potentially vast sums of money. Another reason for hesitation is political resistance. Reparations for slavery faces significant political opposition because many politicians and segments of the public are resistant to the idea. They often argue that contemporary Americans should not be held accountable for historical injustices. The racial inequities and denial. There is a persistent denial of the depth of racial inequities that persist even today, and acknowledging the need for reparations requires admitting the enduring legacy of slavery, which some individuals and groups are simply unwilling to do. Legal and practical challenges. Let's talk about that because implementing a reparation program involves numerous legal and practical challenges, including identifying who's eligible as descendants, determining appropriate forms of compensation, and ensuring effective administration of the program. The only state that seems to be attempting to do something at this point is the state of California. The perceived complexities of reparations. Unlike the more targeted and specific reparations given to Japanese Americans or Holocaust survivors, reparations for slavery involves addressing a broad and deeply entrenched system of racial inequality that affects millions of people. It seems that the hesitancy to provide reparations to the descendants of enslaved African Americans reflects a broader societal challenge in addressing the legacy of slavery and systemic racism in our country. And while other groups have received reparations for specific injustices, the unique and extensive nature of slavery's impact complicates efforts to provide compensation. And addressing this issue requires not only financial compensation, but also a comprehensive effort to dismantle the systemic inequalities that still persist today. Well, it seems that I have come to the end of this rather deep subject that I spoke about today in regards to reparations and why our country is hesitant to give them to us. But it's time for me to start getting ready to work on a new topic for you guys. And also that means getting myself another cup of coffee so that I can start that work on that. In addition, I'm going to leave some of my references that I used for today's discussion down in the description of this video. I hope that you will leave me a comment, and of course, let's continue this conversation beyond the coffee talk. If you by chance are not already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and double tap that bell so that you are notified of all my upcoming content. Also, follow me on all my other social media. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as DC The Purple Diva, and also follow my other YouTube channel where I do spoken word, The Purple Diva Den. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace and blessings from the West Side. I'm out, you guys. Peace.